Oliver and Toad, the dynamic and most iconic engine/Brakevan duo. These two fit into the Thomas series like a glove. Oliver is probably the most relatable character the franchise has had. And Toad? Well, it's Toad. What else is there to say? He's charming and nothing more. I know I keep saying this about every Thomas character we've covered so far, but I'm very much looking forward to covering these two. I've always been so fascinated in these two, particularly with Oliver in the model series and Toad in the CGI series. Especially because Oliver's debut was in probably my favorite ever episode of the whole series. So you know what? I don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's do this thing, shall we? Let's take a look at the show's most popular engine and Brakevan duo. Oliver and Toad made their grand debut in what is probably my favorite episode of the whole series. Season 3's Escape, where Douglas helped them escape from the scrapyard. Although, Oliver only spoke in that. But Toad would receive his first ever speaking role in the series in Season 4's Toad Stands By. Interesting history about the two speaking roles in the series, am I right? Despite his heroism and daring feats of escape, Oliver is an engine who is willing to admit every day is a learning curve. When he was still new to Sodor, he led the other engine's responses to his courage, resource, and sagacity? What? And sagacity from his amazing recounts of daring escapes and adventures get to his smoke box, and he became conceited. However, when the troublesome trucks pushed him into the turntable well, he grew into a much humbler, settled engine and was far warier of the trucks. But later, with some help from his brakeman Toad, he did gain much respect and authority among the trucks when he showed his strength with the ringleader of the trucks, Scruffy. A little more than he had perhaps been intending. Oliver still has gumption, but is now a more obedient, sensible engine. He feels his responsibility of the railway deeply, is ever thankful for being aided in his escape from the scrapyards by Douglas, and is a trustworthy, tenacious, plucky engine. However, he can still be occasionally boastful or temperamental. But despite this setback, Oliver is still one of the more really useful and well-behaved engines on Sodor. Toad is a polite, gentlemanly brakeman. He's also somewhat imaginative and a bit of an optimist, which I don't really blame him for. Toad minds his manners well and is always quick to refer to the engines as Mr., Miss, or Sir. He escaped from scrap with Oliver, with some help from Douglas. I don't know why I had to repeat that, but whatever. Toad is very loyal, keeps Oliver's trucks in order, and has his best interests at heart. He has a cunning streak within him should the trucks cause any particular bother, and does like fun when it comes his way, but he is typically calm, obedient, and content in his work. Now, in terms of their voices, honestly, there is not much to say. Both of them are voiced by Joe Mills, who also voiced Douglas, and briefly Donald, but only in Lost Treasure. I don't really have that much to comment on, other than I loved the voices he gave to the two, giving them the same kind of accent Steve Kyman gave Duck. Which makes sense, given that they're on the same line together. A wonderful voice for the engine and brakeman duo. Come on. I bet you all know what I'm gonna say in terms of what is Oliver's standout episode. Yep, it's Oliver Owns Up. It's not a secret that Season 3 is my favourite season of the whole series, with Season 5 coming in at a close second. And being from the best season, it's not a shock that I love Oliver in it. He thinks he knows best with trucks, only for them to bite him in the butt and knock him into the turntable well. A good example of karma right there. but Oliver's persona goes a long way. Him thinking he's high above himself due to the Vigor engines giving him praise. It's such a wonderful first major episode for him, and definitely his standout. Now as for Toad's best episode, well, you'll be quite surprised to hear this, but it's Toad and the Whale. Yeah, I know, crazy. Now this isn't the best episode for Oliver per se. His character is okay, I guess. I don't mind the dismissive character trait they gave him, but it could have been handled better. And ironically, this is his weakest role in the series. But Toad is perfect in this episode. The CGI series loved Toad. They gave him loads of attention during this era, giving him 3 total episodes across seasons 18 and 19. I love how much he wants to help out the whale in some way, with him having the idea of bringing the whale to Brandon Docks and having Belle spray water on the way there. Now that is a good usage of Belle's gimmick, but I digress. Kinda interesting how this episode ended up being the two ends. It's Oliver's weakest episode due to him being dismissive, and it's Toad's best episode because of what I talked about earlier. Funny how things turned out that way, am I right? From the debuts being in the best episode of the whole series, to them being phased out to the hit era and then brought back into the fold at the very end of it, to even having their season 21 episode being rewritten about Samson and Bradford, Oliver and Toad have been through quite the journey across the whole show. And the fact that they're coming back in the recent 2026 series is crazy. But hey, that's Mattel for ya. Under all that pile of scrap, they can be full of surprises. And it's no wonder why Oliver and Toad are very popular amongst the fandom, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for the two of them in the new series. And that brings the second installment of this year's series to a close. For tomorrow's installment, oh, do we have a real treat on our hands. The next character I will be covering is Diesel, the anti-villain as I like to call him, of the Thomas series. But if you guys want to stay tuned for that, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to stay up to date and to not miss out on the newest content. Until next time, bye guys!